With a total of 27 starters, those considered rare and strong are among the absolute best, even appearing in professional tournaments. However, there are some starter Pokemon that are also enders. Choosing them is essentially pointless because their power is too terrible in every aspect and no one dares to use them. With that question in mind, here are the 10 weakest starters according to my personal opinion. Of course, I am not counting Mega forms for the sake of fairness, because currently some Pokemon still cannot Mega evolve. If we considered Megas, I don't know where these guys would end up, and this is a signal from the universe for more than 60% of you who are still hesitating. Hit the subscribe button so you don't miss the next videos that the channel will release in the near future. Now, let's get started. Rank 10, Blastoise. To be honest, this progressively worse ranking is harder than ranking the strongest Pokemon because these guys are bad in their own distinct ways. Each has its own style. But anyway, the one at rank 10 isn't quite that bad. The one I'll choose is Blastoise. To me, the water turtle is a Pokemon with a legendary design. It was this very design, along with magical memories, that dragged me onto the path of catching and maintaining pets until now. But if we have to speak honestly, if Blastoise doesn't have its Mega Evolution, it really isn't that noteworthy in the game. Its stats are turtle-like, so it leans more toward defense, with physical and special defense at 100 and 105 respectively. The offensive sectors are just mediocre with nothing too outstanding. On the bright side, because it is a water type, these defensive stats are very reasonable since water is only countered by 2 types and resists up to 4 different ones. As a result, in terms of staying on the field, Blastoise can be considered a success. But the problem that causes it to be ignored is its move pool. It's quite boring if it doesn't Mega Evolve. It only has the move Water Spout, which is decent, dealing massive damage if at full health. However, its special attack is not high enough compared to other Pokemon that use Water Spout. At this point, we would need the setup move Shell Smash to increase special attack and speed by 2 stages. But after setting up, Blastoise's health might not be high enough to use Water Spout anymore. 1 turn of setup and then being countered by the opponent. Generally, the problem with Blastoise is that if you want it to finish as a tank, its stats don't allow it. If you want to set up power, the damage is no longer high enough. One might think an ability would save it, but no. Rain Dish only recovers 1/16 of its health in the rain. That is too little healing and takes too much time, so overall, the standard form of Blastoise looks okay on the surface, but when actually used, nothing is quite right. Rank 9, Empoleon. And next at the progressively worse rank, 9 is Empoleon. The Emperor Penguin successfully convinced me that it's actually not that bad. At least the Steel/Water dual typing is a combination that, even until now, no other Pokemon has. Furthermore, this combination is extremely good, allowing the Pokemon to resist damage from 10 types, stay immune to poison, and only fear 3 types: Electric, Fighting, and Ground. A defensive capability and dual typing that everyone craves. Its stats are also stable, with the highlights being special attack and special defense. However, it's a bit tough because even though it's a steel type, its physical defense is not high, and fighting or ground types are famous for being the top physical hitters in the meta, so that's a minus point. But it's a bit of a consolation that it now has the competitive ability, which increases special attack by 2 stages whenever the opponent lowers any of its stats, instead of having that useless defiant ability like before. However, what makes me rank it on this list comes from its move pool. Its move pool has too many strong physical moves while lacking magic moves, which are supposed to be Empoleon's strength. Its water type moves have too few strong special attacks. At least Blastoise has Water Spout for sweeping and is worth using in double battles. Its move Surf, while strong, hits both enemies and allies, so that's a no-go. Hydro Pump has only an 80% accuracy rate. No one is brave enough to use that. That leaves only one move, Water Pulse, with a power of 80 and no accompanying effects. At least if it could learn Scald to spray hot water, it would deal similar damage but with a 30% chance to burn the opponent, which would be meaningful, but it can't learn it. Additionally, it has no setup moves to increase its own power other than Swords Dance, which is completely pointless for it. Combined with a speed of only 60, it can only attack first in Trick Room, but its damage and moves are not strong enough to finish anyone. Its ability, while good, still depends heavily on the opponent to activate, leaving Empoleon in a passive position from start to finish. So even if the dual typing is good, everything else can't save it. Rank 8, Decidueye. At rank 8, I think I'll talk about Decidueye. Introduced in Generation 7, Decidueye can be said to be one of the most impressive designs to me among the starters in general, and the 3 Gen 7 starters in particular. Ghost/Grass is the only dual typing of its kind in starter forms. The design idea of a Robin Hood-like hero and a native owl is great and quite cool, but it seems they prefer giving power to the ones that look more clunky. As for the cool-looking ones, they don't seem to like them. Decidueye has a stat spread that makes you angry to death just looking at it, with physical and special attack at 107 and 100 respectively. And as usual, this is a meaningless distribution. Then add physical defense at only 75 and speed at only 70. How can it be suitable for any role? It can't be a fast attacker, and it can't use Trick Room because of its mediocre speed. Its destructive power isn't even strong enough. Plus, its exclusive ability, Long Reach, is quite silly. Don't misunderstand me. This ability makes contact moves not actually touch the opponent, meaning its arms are long, so it reaches out to hit. Something like that. Thanks to that, it avoids the effects of certain abilities like Flame Body, Static, or Rough Skin, and avoids damage from the Rocky Helmet item. But the problem is, it doesn't encounter these abilities and items in every match. Their appearance rate is very low. Consequently, even if this ability is interesting, it's only good if Decidueye's damage is large enough. On the bright side, a small plus is that its move pool is diverse with many strong moves like Brave Bird, Leaf Blade, Sucker Punch, and the setup move Swords Dance, along with its signature move Spirit Shackle, which deals damage and prevents enemies from switching out. This is just like Shikamaru's Shadow Possession in Naruto, nothing more. But once again, its stats and ability are too mediocre, causing Decidueye to be completely overshadowed by its two peers, Incineroar and Primarina. What else is there to say? Those two are just too strong compared to Decidueye. Rank 7, Sceptile. And rank 7, if there is anything most untrustworthy in Pokemon, number 1 is the strength of some Pokemon in the anime, and Sceptile is an example. This is an extremely regrettable case because its design is too good, too beautiful. In the anime, it's a forest lizard, a grass lizard. In the game, it's a grass lizard with a phoenix tail. Just looking at it makes me want to pull it out in frustration. Sceptile has a stat set that leans more towards special attack and speed rather than direct confrontation, which is completely different from the show. Its speed is very high, and its special attack is 105. One would think it has a bright future, but no. It's the move pool that sinks its power to the bottom of society. Most of its noteworthy and safe moves are on the physical side, such as Earthquake, Knockoff, Outrage, Dragon Claw, Thunder Punch, Dragon Dance, and Swords Dance. All are moves serving the melee sector. Why not just let it follow the melee direction then? Why make it so awkward? Meanwhile, its special attack sector, the moves worth using, only include Giga Drain, Energy Ball, and Leaf Storm. Using the Leaf Storm move lowers special attack by 2 stages, so that's a bye-bye. These moves are mostly Grass type and Dragon Pulse. There isn't a single special side power setup move. Furthermore, straying a bit into the Mega form, when it Megas, it gains the Dragon type and still can't even learn Draco Meteor, even though with these stats, just switching it to the melee direction would allow it to use its physical move pool wonderfully and escape this low rank fate. But no, they insist on having its move pool and stats clash with each other. Truly incomprehensible. Rank 6, Chestnut. And rank 6 in this row. Allow me to mention Chestnut. Chestnut was introduced in Generation 6 and has a stat set that isn't too bad. At least it stands out in physical defense and physical attack at 122 and 107 respectively. We actually know how to use it well. Thanks to this physical defense stat, its move Body Press will deal quite large damage if this Pokemon uses the move Bulk Up to both increase physical resilience and attack power. Additionally, moves that utilize its stab like Wood Hammer, Close Combat, Thunder Punch, and Seed Bomb are all strong and worth using. Its damage coverage isn't bad either because it learns Earthquake, Dual Chop, and Rock Slide, which is a big plus. Its bulletproof ability allows it to be immune to ball and bomb-like moves, which includes many moves disadvantageous to Chestnut, such as Gyro Ball, Sludge Bomb, Shadow Ball, Weather Ball, and so on. There are many more, but strangely this move doesn't block Moonblast. I don't understand understand that. It's like a bomb/projectile too, right? Everything seems very beneficial for Chestnut, but just because its dual typing is too terrible, it changes everything. Its defense was already poor, and now adding the fighting type, which is only good at attacking and also poor at defending. Combining these two is just stinky with 6 weaknesses, and meeting a flying type means it's gone in one hit. And naturally, its special defense and speed aren't high either, making it 100% difficult to survive in any arena when the flying type is one of the most popular and widely used types. So whether you like it or not, the dual typing sinks it too much. Rank 5, Samurott. And opening rank 5, the top 5 gold star tray that no one wants to join is Samurott, the water type starter of Generation 5. And it has a stat set that, sorry, is going nowhere. Physical attack is average, and special attack is also boring and not much better. Speed is only 70, not faster than anyone. Then come the abilities. It only has shell armor, which protects the Pokemon from critical hits. A defensive ability, but its defensive stats aren't good. So overall, Samurott doesn't have anything called outstanding or memorable. Then the move pool is even more tragic, as it's like Empoleon's case. Strong water type moves worth using on the special side are almost non-existent, yet it has many good physical moves like Sacred Sword, Liquidation, Aqua Jet, Mega Horn, and Knock Off. But it's worse than Empoleon because it doesn't have a good dual typing. So many good moves, yet all physical, only to utilize its half-baked 100-point attack stat. Even the move that used to be its signature move, Razor Shell, is also a physical move. Consequently, I don't understand why the Hisuian form of Samurott only swapped the positions of special attack and physical attack, but became far more successful than this Unova form. So, at least it stands in the bottom 5, counting up. Yay!
Rank 4, Meganium. Rank 4, I think, is Meganium. I know it has a Mega form, but we are not considering Megas to ensure fairness. And fans put all their hope into Meganium's Mega form just to see this green dinosaur on the battlefield once. That's how you know its base form is nonsense. Look at its stats. They are entirely leaning toward defense. Although, to be fair, 2 defense stats of 100 aren't actually that good. It's true these stats are similar to Blastoise, but the fatal blow here is that it's a grass type, guys. That type, in terms of resilience, is the worst in this game. Being stepped on by 5 different types, how can anyone dare to use a defensive grass Pokemon with such weak defensive stats? Of course, no one uses it. Now, let's not even talk about the move pool, because if it's defensive, the support moves must be good. But does Meganium have any truly useful support moves? Actually, it has Encore, Light Screen, and Reflect, but its speed is just average. How can it support allies in time? These moves need a Pokemon with the Prankster ability to gain +1 priority and ignore speed to be used well. But what is its ability? Leaf Guard protects the Pokemon from status conditions in harsh sunlight. Oh my god, in harsh sunlight, fire-type Pokemon will burn it to ashes anyway. Why bother inflicting burn or paralysis? Thinking about it back and forth, Meganium is a failure in terms of stats, abilities, and move pool. Even though I really like the grass type, honestly, considering Meganium, it's like a neglected child. Now there's only hope for the Mega form. At least its Mega stats have very good offense and defense. I hope it gets a breakthrough ability so this flower can change its life. Oh my god, please. Rank 3, Torterra. At rank 3, this honorary rank, we must talk about Torterra. It is a massive waste of design resources with the grass/ground dual typing suffering abuse from 4 types, with the ice type being the one dealing the most brutal damage to it. Not to mention, this dual typing only helps it resist damage from rock and ground and stay immune to electric, meaning this typing isn't very good for defense. It's only good on the offensive side since grass and ground can deal super effective damage to 7 different types. But a part of Torterra's stats follows the physical attack and physical defense direction clearly, yet its speed is too slow. You might say put it in Trick Room and it's reasonable, right? Well, its offensive power isn't enough to be used in Trick Room. Pokemon in Trick Room are usually those with terrifying damage that can finish off both targets at once or at least 100% take down one opponent. Not to mention its ability is Shell Armor, just like Samurott, a defensive ability. So with these mediocre attack stats and ability, just surviving is a miracle. Even though later game Game Freak put effort into improving Torterra by letting it learn Headlong Rush and adding the shell-breaking move Shell Smash, which lowers defense stats by 1 stage in exchange for increasing attack and speed by 2 stages. But this creates a contradiction because its speed wasn't high to begin with, so compared to other Shell Smash users, it's like a joke. Furthermore, having to spend a turn to set up means it's not certain Torterra will survive a turn to counterattack. So even though I really like Torterra, it doesn't work. I think it will need a Mega Form to change its life. Rank 2, Infernape. And Rank 2, I will talk about Infernape. Yeah, you know Gen 4 is like the neglected child when so many bad things were shoved onto the 3 starters. Despite this starter trio having the best designs in the whole starter lineup, according to my personal opinion. And Infernape or Sceptile, in the show they are the Monkey King Sun Wukong. In real life, they are like circus monkeys in the botanical garden because they stay in their Pokeballs all day and no one wants to use them. Strange, right? The ones that are so cool in Satoshi's anime turn out so weird in reality. Looking at its stats, it's a mixed attacker. High speed makes its resilience not good in any area. It would be fine if the speed was high and the attack was also high to compensate, but here the speed is only 108 and the attacks are balanced out at 104. At least Sceptile has a high enough speed of 120 and knows which area to focus on. But Infernape, looking at these stats, who can it punch? And since it's a mixed attacker, meaning it can dance to any tune, its ability should be fair too. But no, its ability is Iron Fist, increasing the power of punching moves by 20%. Setting aside the fact that this ability is useless as heck, this is like a subtle suggestion that if you want to use Infernape well, remember to use physical moves. Oh, then why sacrifice resilience and speed for that unused 104 special attack stat? Furthermore, Fire and Fighting is not an overly good defensive dual typing. It's more for offense, yet both its attack and speed stats are mediocre with nothing outstanding. On the bright side, its offensive moves are diverse. There are many strong moves like Flare Blitz, Close Combat, and Thunder Punch, but in actual combat, it's not certain to take anyone down. Meanwhile, it will surely be defeated just by receiving 1 counterattack from the opponent. Thus, inviting you into the monkey cage for a fire dance is most reasonable. Rank 1, Emboar. And then the champion, whether you want to come up and receive the award or not, I will call your name, and that is Emboar. It has quite a potential design and a stat set of 123 HP and 110 physical attack, which is quite impressive among starters, but why give it another 110 special attack points? What for? Why? And consequently, its resilience and speed are just trash. The Fire/Fighting dual typing already has many weaknesses, right? It's really too blurred with this dual typing, and now they give it such AIDS-like resilience. Even if its HP is good, it really can't be saved. Then not to mention the Reckless ability, which increases damage by 20% for recoil moves like Flare Blitz and Head Smash. These moves indeed have very high damage, but in return, damage is reflected back at the user. This means this ability increases destructive power and also increases the damage the using Pokemon must take. Here it is, Newton's third law. But look closely, is Emboar so powerful that it can use all its strength to hit the opponent and then survive the wave for the next turn? I fear not. Its speed is also not high enough to attack first. That means the future for Emboar is either being sent away by the opponent before it can do anything, or taking down one foe only to be sent away immediately after. So many risks appearing makes it, to be honest, difficult to shine. Even if it Mega Evolves, although stats would improve, if the ability doesn't change, then with this shrunken physical defense of 75, it would hardly get a second chance. And I have a feeling no one will mention this pig even if it does Mega Evolve. And those are the 10 starters that I think are the worst according to my personal opinion. In your opinion, which is the worst starter? Let me know in the comments section below. For now, see you again in the next videos. Bye!